What is your secret that you can't tell anyone because it will probably ruin your life?
I found out I had a half-brother from Dad, and the only reason I found out about it was because he had leukemia, and they thought I'd be a match for a blood marrow transfusion. I don't give my best at work because I don't care anymore. I used to give them 100% and nobody noticed, and only focused on the small mistakes I made. Now I give 40 to 50%, and my manager keeps bugging me why my performance has dropped compared to before. I simply don't care. The salary is fine compared to the country's standard, but in this field of work is on the lower end of the chart. I don't care. I'm overworked and underpaid, by industry standard, not countrywide standard. I have a bad back, and from time to time it goes into a full spasm. One day I was getting out of bed, and as my foot hit the floor, I went into a full spasm. I have no idea how, but a perfectly formed turd fell out the leg of my shorts and landed on the floor. Due to my spasm, I fell and landed right in the poop. The commotion woke up my girlfriend at the time, and she ran over to check on me. I blame the dog. I've never actually told anyone this before. I hid the extent of my alcoholism from everyone since I was 15. I'm now 35 and 8 weeks sober. No one knows I'm sober now, as they've never known I had an alcohol issue. My brother is the product of a rape, my mom told me. I don't know if she told him. She's passed away now. I left my job at an electronics manufacturing company in 2002, but they continued paying me my full salary, including all incremental raises and annual bonus, until they offered me a very generous redundancy package in 2022 due to departmental restructuring, including an £85,000 lump sum contribution to my pension fund. I even got the quarterly magazine and annual Christmas card sent to me. In March of this year, 2023, I got an invite to the 75th anniversary of the company, went along, had a great time at the free bar, and nobody realized I hadn't worked there for over 20 years. You've got to love a good administrative error. The story everyone knows is my boyfriend and I voluntarily left our place of work because our relationship went against policy and we valued our relationship more than our crappy jobs. The truth is, we got caught fucking in my car before work and left in order to avoid repercussions. I'm 40, and my parents have no idea that I never actually graduated college. I went for almost 6 years and never felt like I really knew what I was doing. School wasn't necessarily hard for me, but I just couldn't bring myself to focus or be dedicated to it. My parents were super obsessed with the idea that everyone needs a degree to get any decent job, so there was a ton of pressure, and dropping out wasn't an option. So I graduated in a winter semester and decided not to walk the stage since the December ceremony was always pretty small and I knew they wouldn't think that was weird. This happened to be during the recession in the 2000s, so I had an excuse for not finding a conventionally professional job right after that. Now, I actually have a really good job with a company that focuses on hiring people based on experience, skill, and personality, so it turns out I didn't even need that degree. But I will never tell my parents the truth. I fall asleep every night in horror because my former best friend and I haven't talked in 3 years. Because for her 21st birthday, we both got massively blackout drunk and smoked. I have no idea what happened that night. But she's never answered a message I've sent since. While addicted to meth, I accidentally got caught up working for a Nazi gang in my hometown. They were just having me smurf and collect money for them, but by the time I realized what they were all about, they weren't about to let me just stop working. So I kept doing it until I was able to leave my hometown and make it out to Tampa. The things I got involved in while working with them could put me in prison for 20 years. Most of my family think I lived a pretty normal junkie life back then, but they have no idea how easy it is to get involved with big-name dealers in a town with such a high cartel presence. My childhood friend has 2 siblings that he doesn't know exist. They're twins, around 2 years old now. I promised to keep it a secret. My dad and his dad are close friends. My dad is quite the gossip and spilled every last detail to me. Apparently, their father, handsome, tall, a sports prodigy, slept with a doctor who lied about being on birth control so that she could give birth to his children, who she claimed had superior genetics. She was his former doctor who pulled up his private records in order to score a date with him, as she had all his contact info at hand. Never wanted child support or even a father in her kids' lives, just an involuntary sperm donor. Very weird. I was in a war and killed a man from my army because he was a rapist. I lied on my job application. I do not have a college degree. I do not actually have experience in finance. They hired me anyway and paid for me to get my Series 65, and I am now a financial advisor for a major bank. By the way, I hate this job. I bullied a kid in 2nd grade because he was mean to me one time. Like every day bullied him, went out of my way to make his life suck. Got my friends to join in with me. Turns out the kid was only mean because he was going through a lot at home. Suddenly I noticed he wasn't at school anymore for a week or so. An announcement came on one morning over the school PA system asking for a moment of silence. Turns out this kid's mother's boyfriend beat him so badly that he fell into a coma, died a week later. I have always felt a deep amount of shame for this. Also, my father killed someone when I was 5. Brutal crime. Beat the person to death over a road rage incident. Barely did any time for it. Not something I like to talk about or ever bring up in public. Very ashamed of it. At Christmas, my family loves my homemade eggnog. It's just high-end store-bought eggnog, and I put in 1 to 2 tiny pieces of eggshell to make it look like they were missed when I strained the eggnog. 5 years before my stepdad died of Alzheimer's and leukemia, I noticed he was very quiet in the evenings when I visited him and my mom. I asked him, "Why don't you want to talk a bit more?" To which he responded, "If I don't say anything, I can't say anything wrong." I took it to mean that he was afraid of conflicts with my mom and said that I would want to hear anything he had to say. After he died, I realized why he said what he said. I was at a lunch with them when he tried to ask me something, but put in completely wrong nouns, nonsense choices. And every time he did that, my mom started laughing and said, "Now you've totally gotten things weird." She didn't know she was being condescending because she didn't know he was getting advanced dementia. None of us knew then. And she just brushed his mistakes off as being silly mistakes. She couldn't know it shamed him so much that he stopped talking, since he didn't trust his words anymore, nor his sense of balance. I will never ever explain this to my mom, not even if I am super angry. I would do unretractable damage to my relationship with her. She mourned him deeply. Edit. To the heartless people insulting my mother over this post, she stood with my stepdad to the very end, sat with him in his room in the nursing home when he sometimes would scream for a half hour in mortal dread as he realized the consequences of his worsening condition. Those days would completely crush her. She suffered more than anyone I know have done, and also saw her own dad die of cancer in her youth, so you know nothing of her sacrifice. We buried him 2 weeks ago. I'm doing all I can to spend time with my mom at the cabin and cook great meals for her, do chores in the garden. My brother and his wife helps too. All my passwords are the same word with different combinations of numbers and punctuation marks. Thank you for watching, and if you're brave enough, tell us the secret you've never told anyone.